YouTube. I thought I would do this video standing up just because it's new. And this is actually episode 2 of Ask a Stutterer. Now, before I start to go into what the question of this episode is, I just want to say that this question it challenged me. Let's just put it that way. It challenged me. I didn't know how to start, and I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to answer this to the best of my ability. But I think I finally formulated a pretty complete response. So this episode's question is, how does it feel like when you speak with a stutter? And I guess let me just start with this important thing, which is that people who stutter can't really predict when they will stutter next. And I'll repeat that one more time. So people who stutter cannot really predict when they will stutter next. So what does this mean then? I guess you could say that speaking with a stutter is a lot like speaking without a stutter. So for those of you non-stutterers, how does it feel like to speak? And that question is kind of hard to answer too, right? Because what is speaking? I mean, it's just this innate ability that we're taught at a young age in order to express our ideas and communicate things that we need. So there's not really much difference here. However, the only thing with stutterers is that we have this extra obstacle that we can't control. We don't know when it'll come. We don't know if it'll come at all. And if it does come, we never know how severe or how long it stays. And to further answer this question, I thought I would ask another question that kind of relates, and that is, what goes through my head in a moment of stuttering? And I think this question I can answer pretty well. When I stutter, I feel it both physically and mentally. Physically, I can feel it in my lips, because I noticed I start to quiver. I can feel it in my lungs. I feel like I have less oxygen. Sometimes I can feel it in my throat, my jaw, my neck, my shoulders. And sometimes when I'm in a really bad stuttering attack, my foot goes up and down really fast, and I have no idea why that is. Now, mentally, a few thoughts that go through my head are just kind of like, why did it have to come now? I was having such a good conversation before. How long will this last? Can you just hurry up and leave? I hope the person I'm talking to isn't so distracted by my stuttering. And that's kind of the main idea of how I feel like. And I'm really focused on my speech when I start to stutter, just because conversation goes by really quickly. And I hate being the one to kind of slow down the conversation just because I'm in a moment of stuttering. I mean, I shouldn't be upset just because it's not a thing I can control, but I mean, it's always kind of embarrassing. And I also thought of this analogy to compare stuttering to, and you're gonna have to excuse me because it's gonna sound really random. It might sound stupid, but I came with it off the top of my head, so I do apologize. Okay. So, imagine a restaurant, and let's just call it a McDonald's. So it's a pretty small fast food restaurant. And assume there's only one exit, which is the entryway that customers enter. And now let's also assume, for whatever reason, it is packed. There are so many customers in this McDonald's. Now picture a fire just lets loose in the kitchen. And with everything that's in that kitchen, it's just expanding and it's growing larger and larger. The customers and the staff start to notice, so they all head for that one exit. And everyone's riled up. So of course there's no organized way that they can just leave. So as you can imagine, there's this congestion that piles up in this exit. And that's kind of like what stuttering is. You can go ahead and picture that line of people as a sentence that I attempt to speak. And you can go further to compare each person in that line to a letter in words in my sentences. Now when the fire first starts, there are a few lucky people who are near enough to the exit that they can just leave with no harm. And when I speak, a lot of the time there's a lot of words that I can say very fluently and they come out natural and everything, and it's okay. But there's also those people that weren't fortunate enough to be near an exit and they get caught up in this congestion. Just like when I stutter, the word I'm trying to spill out doesn't come out as nice as others. But the thing with this analogy and my stuttering is that eventually the congestion just clears up. And when I stutter, I mean every stuttering moment ends. I just don't know how long, but it ends. And I can continue on with my conversation, and the people that got caught in this fiery McDonald's can just continue on with their lives. But the only thing with me and my stuttering is that this happens over and over and over and over again. And again, like I said before, I just don't know when. So if there's a couple things I want you guys to take away from this, it's that, number one, like I said, people who stutter can't really predict when they'll stutter next. And number two, which is probably very obvious, is that for us stutterers, speaking can be hard. It can be a challenge, a big one. So for those of you non-stutterers, when you're speaking with us, just try to be patient. Thanks, guys.